So the name of the project is It Done Yet? And in essence, it is an AI based solution which teaches you how to cook. The problem that we saw was that during the lockdown, many people were forced to learn how to cook. And more often than not, they had to cook for multiple meals, usually all of their meals. And many of these people were students who were forced to live in their student apartments and not being able to rely on food from outside. They were facing a tough time. uh, some of my friends in India were forced to stay in their universities, and they didn't have food to eat from outside, so they were forced to learn how to cook. My own father had to work from home and he tried to learn how to cook, but he struggled a lot because some of the basic things that you'll need to know how to while learning how to cook, such as whether or not your food is properly fried, how long do you need to boil a certain thing, and being able to tell from the look of it whether or not the food is done yet, is something that seems easy enough to someone who knows how to cook, but it's tough to learn. So I aim to solve this problem. And the solution uses a convolutional neural network, which classifies and tells you whether or not the food is done yet. So the name of the product is also a play on this. Is it done yet? So the solution works in three steps. You simply need to click a picture and upload it to the neural network. And the network is built on the Linnet architecture, which is very popular. And it predicts whether or not the food is cooked and also prints a confidence value associated with its prediction. So it'll tell you that it's 80% confident that the food is not cooked yet. For my prototype, I was only able to extend this to fried onions, as frying onions is an important part in pretty much every cuisine around the world. So the neural network tells you whether or not the onions you're cooking have been fried yet. And step three is simply that the user can use this advice and you don't have to worry about video calling your parents back home and taking advice from them. Honestly, if you use video call, it's pretty bad in terms of resolution. And by the time someone tells you whether or not the food is actually done, you might end up with a burnt dish. So the technology is pretty bare bones. I've used Keras and OpenCV, and I took some help from a tutorial on pyimagesearch.com. So one question that arises is why now? The pandemic in particular presents several opportunities for applications that assist self-learning. Now, self-learning has been restricted to the domain of education and universities moving to virtual education. But I feel that it also presents opportunities in self-learning, say how to knit or how to play a certain musical instrument, or in my example, how to cook. So these applications are pretty interesting in my opinion and help us solve some seemingly minor problems, but then these add up over time and increase the ease of use of day-to-day objects. So I'd like to cover some future improvements just to conclude. So given that this was a 24-hour hack and my team members were not able to join us for the entirety of it, as was I. I was occupied with a lot of work, and the time difference made a lot of things difficult. So some improvements that we can aim to incorporate are to extend the functionality to more than just onions. Of course, if you just have an app that tells you whether or not your onions are fried yet, is um, I don't know how many of you have seen Silicon Valley, but it's pretty much hot dog or not hot dog. Uh, so the proof of concept, however, was very scalable. I only managed to obtain 260 images of onions, which is a lot. I mean, I didn't guess that Google Images would have these many images of just onions on a frying pan. And surprisingly, it works pretty well. So clearly, the proof of concept is scalable, and we can extend this to more things such as baking cookies or baking a cake or boiling pasta. Another improvement, which would be substantial, is to create a mobile app around this neural network. So, using this as our core technology, we can make a mobile app which also provides recipes which you can source from various websites. And it can become an end to end solution for learning how to cook from scratch. So, you could select a cuisine and you could select a dish, and it would teach you how to cook that dish. And while you're cooking, you could take pictures of the intermediate steps, and it would give you feedback based on how well the dish has been done. So overall, uh, if given enough time, this could be extended to being like a Duolingo of cooking, hyperbolic as though it may sound. So yeah, that's my project. Thanks a lot.